All right, so we're, of course, in full go mode. There is no stop. We are all gas, no brakes. Yes, all automotive puns. I'm going to keep them going, as many as I can think of. Now, with that being said, we're going to hear from Conversica, and what they're going to be discussing is actually talking about the AI platform that turns your dealership data into booked appointments. Oh, that's pretty good. That's a good one there. So, to help lead that conversation, please do me a favor. Let's give him a big, welcoming, huge round of applause. We've got Mike Gilson, CEO of Conversica. Mike, come on up. Wait, Mike.
You can critique me all you want.
Wait a minute. No. My microphone, you heard me say, give him a big, warm round of loud applause.
You got to listen to this guy here. He's going to give you a hard time.
I did say loud applause, right? That was like a mediocre round of applause. They can do better. Give me one more.
Okay.
Just stay right here.
All right.
Okay, living room, listen. You guys have one job. Okay, you have to make me look good, make NADA look good, just make a little noise. All right, you ready? We're gonna try it one more time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a big round of applause. Mike Gilson. There you go, that's what I'm talking about. Mike, stage is yours.
Thank you, man, appreciate it. Well, hi everyone. I'm actually new to the automotive industry. I took over the leadership of Conversica back in April of last year. Fun fact about Conversica, Conversica was actually the first vendor to bring conversational AI to the automotive industry about 15 years ago. It had a great run, and I think a prior leadership made a very bad decision, in my opinion. They decided to kind of neglect this industry and expand into different markets and kind of turned its back on the industry that got them started. And when I took over the leadership really back last year, it was very clear where we had the biggest opportunity based on the customers that I was speaking to directly. This industry faces a lot of challenges, and I've been in the software industry for over 15 years, and one of the things that always drives me is learning what are the problems that we're facing, that we're solving with software. And it's very clear that this is a moment where this whole industry is kind of emerging to really try to figure out how can they leverage new tech. We're now in a world of self-driving cars. We're in a world of ChatGPT that has really changed the game for a lot of us. I know it's changed the game for me personally. And I think my goal really is to show all of you really what's possible and what's coming. And I made the decision pretty early on to invest and make automotive kind of the focal point of the company's focus and strategy going forward. And I'm going to show you just a few of the things that we've been working on, and hopefully you'll get a sense of that we're back and we really want to invest in this industry and develop relationships with you. So maybe with that, I don't know how to work this remote here, but why don't we just start at the beginning. So there's really two challenges that I see after talking to many of you with major groups, individual rooftops, what have you. It's just being able to identify opportunities, figuring out where to spend your time day to day. Your teams are busy, right? Oftentimes you own multiple rooftops. You have years and years of data buried in your DMS or your CRM systems or your conversational engagement systems. Trying to make sense of that is a very real problem. And I've heard that from every customer that I've talked to, not only in automotive, by the way, but in other industries, but automotive specifically. A lot of these systems are very archaic. It is not easy to get information out of these systems. And honestly, that's where a lot of your revenue is buried. It's just an old data that people can't activate or access. Trying to make sense of that is a very real challenge. The second piece is just once you have a conversation with a customer, having the memory and the recall of understanding when was the last time we spoke to them? What does their service history look like? When was the last time we actually marketed to them or picked up the phone and called them? Trying to understand what their needs are, what their specific preferences are, and then trying to get them into the dealership to schedule an appointment or test drive or get their car in for service. That's not an insignificant challenge in automotive. And trying to make sense of that in real time is something that really hurts this industry right now. And I think at this show, what you'll see, there's a lot of AI vendors. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk about business jargon. There's a lot of talk about the newest next-gen capability. But kind of the ugly truth is a lot of this information or a lot of these tools require multiple different tools to function. You need a different tool to run campaigns. You need a different tool to handle your conversations with customers. You need a different tool to segment those customers. So oftentimes it's a CDP platform, it's a CRM system, it's a DMS system, it's a conversational AI platform. It's not cheap, it costs money, And trying to tie it all together is a very real problem that I'm very in tune with now, having spoken with many of you. So Conversica is announcing a new platform at NADA. And we've been investing over the last 9 months, really since I've come online, around how can we make sense of all of this information? How do we make sense of a DMS system across multiple stores that has, say, maybe 5 years of data in there? It's very hard to get information out. But that's where the gold, in terms of just who to target, what their service histories are, what their preferences are, when was the last time you upsold them, what models or makes might they be interested in, where's their untapped revenue, and being able to quantify that is not possible today. And it takes a lot of work to make sense of that information, and worse yet, being able to tie it into a CRM system or your emails or your text messages or your web chats is not something that is easy to do. So Conversica really is focused on 2 layers to this problem. The first layer is where we started, which is the AI that talks to your customers. It interfaces with your customers. It understands how to answer their questions about a specific make or model. It understands when they can schedule an appointment. It understands their availability, what time or day might work for your dealership in terms of getting them in for service or getting them in for a test drive. It understands that because it has access to this data, this complex data, and is able to reason across it. It sounds simple, but it isn't in practice. And the second piece is, it's not only the AI that talks to those customers and interfaces with them, but it's also the AI that talks and helps your internal teams. That same intelligence platform that powers those conversations is the same intelligence that your team inside of a dealership can leverage day to day. So just to give you perspective, this is the typical way of, say, targeting customers, segmenting them, reaching out to them, and then kind of the next generation of this. So a very common workflow that many of you might be experiencing. Typically, you might try to start in your DMS. You might be building a report in one of the major ones, Ray, Dealer Socket, the list goes on. That's not easy in and of itself, trying to pull information out of there and trying to find the right segment. And then you might export to Excel. Then someone on your team or multiple people will try to manually segment those customers. And so you might be leveraging a CDP platform to help you do that, to help create audiences that might help you do that. But then you have to build a campaign. So you might need another system to go and run a campaign with all that information. That's a very real workflow right now. Once you hand it off, then comes a manual outreach component. So someone on your team will have to take that data after those campaigns have been sent live. There's going to be a handoff if the AI qualified it or not, and then it's going to someone, usually your BDC team, a service advisor, someone will have to get involved and then try to manually interface with those customers. That's not easy in an environment that's all about scale. It's all about velocity. This is something that's hard to do from that perspective. And then on top of that, the last phase in the process is scheduling appointments, checking for availability, checking if the right inventory is in stock. All that has to happen before someone comes in for a test drive or to schedule service for their vehicle. Fast forward to today, and this is what we're announcing at NADA. The AI should automatically segment those customers. It should automatically match them to a specific campaign. The system should automatically run that campaign on your behalf. We live in a world now of self-driving cars. Your marketing system and your outreach campaigns should be self-driving. We should not need human involvement to do this at scale. So it's not about eliminating your team. This is about augmenting them so they can do their jobs better and focus on developing relationships, because at the end of the day, that's what this is about. People trust their car dealer because they have relationships in them. Many of you probably have relationships with your customers going back several years. That's what we want to enable and help you focus on. In the last part of this process, we don't need a separate scheduling tool. It's part of one continuum. It's part of that same process, that same workflow. It's all embedded under one solution. And you can see just where we are focusing on driving impact across a dealership. This is not just about empowering a B2C team. This is not just about empowering a GM or someone that owns a group. We think about every function within a dealership and what are the specific challenges that each function has day to day. And there's very real challenges in each one of these functions. On the service drive, it's being able to identify who's right for service, their specific requirements on specific makes and models. It's understanding when was the last time we touched them, can we re-engage them autonomously, and how much effort is required to actually do that. On the sales floor, this is really about how can you qualify internet leads, which is a rich source of traffic for many of you. How can we convert them to appointments? How can we take complex information about specific makes or models and answer questions in real time without scripted responses and things that sound like a robot, which actually sounds empathetic and human? That's the challenge when talking about new sales leads. Being able to do even more complex things like doing trade-in evaluations or payment queries via each channel, SMS, email, or web chat. Your F&I department, it's a rich source of profit for many of you. Being able to understand what your lease maturity pipeline looks like, how much of your business is captive-oriented versus traditional bank lenders, being able to pre-qualify based on their credit score, being able to complete that end-to-end journey is something that we're laser focused on. And where we all began, where it all started in the B2C. It replaces this manual blast marketing, these static email blasts that might be being generated from your CRM, and these are actual two-way intelligent conversations. Much like we're talking now, the system has the capability to interface with you and have perfect recall, perfect memory, perfect context about who you are, what you're interested in, and what the next best action should be. And really, this is how it all happens. So all of this is contingent on data in any form across any system of record. These are the most common ones: repair orders, understanding declined services, customer messages from your conversational history, what your service history might look like, again, buried in your DMS, any type of specific vehicle and warranty information, and then the actionable intelligence that gleans from that data, your AI summaries. It identifies opportunities, identifies next best actions, very smart service campaigns, and then appointment recommendations. The system handles all of this. And so now you have basically an autonomous insights engine for automotive dealerships that closes that last mile strategy loop, which is a huge pain point for many of you. As I referenced before, this is what you all need to be wary of as you evaluate AI tools. Scripted, templated responses, things that don't sound real. There's a lot of that, unfortunately, in this industry and in this market and in other verticals. So what is the differentiator? It's really being able to have personalized interactions at scale. Being able to answer very specific technical questions about a specific make or model or campaign or what's working historically or not, or how your dealership might be performing in a specific product line or by a specific service advisor or by a specific BDC. All that information should be at your fingertips. And this is what customers expect now. We're now all in a world where many of us work with ChatGPT or Claude or some of these other models every day. Customers don't have tolerance for things that don't understand them, things that don't know their service or their service history, or how much equity might be in their vehicle, or what cars they might be interested in, or certain preferences around when they might want to schedule an appointment. And they expect to be keeping updated on specific relevant offers and updates about cars they might want to buy or when they should come in for service. And they expect you to respond fast. This is what modern commerce looks like, and AI should power a lot of this to remove that burden from your team. As I referenced before, we really do two things. There's two focus areas for us. One is focusing on your customers. How can we solve their problem? How can we respond instantly, reduce the amount of time required to actually schedule an appointment and answer their questions and gather that information that you can use internally to drive more revenue, either at the dealership level or at a group level. And the innovation that we're announcing is really, it's not just about the customer, it's about your teams themselves. That same intelligence that you're using to power these conversations, your team should have access to internally. being able to surface queries and ask the system questions, complex questions, directly like you might be interfacing with Google Search or ChatGPT, and having a very intelligent response that would take anyone on your team maybe hours or days or weeks to replicate that type of information is now available to you within seconds or minutes. What I've learned from having implemented some of this inside of dealerships and groups is there's a lot of buried revenue in many dealerships. There's a lot of untapped revenue. There's a lot of segments that have not been contacted. There's a lot of cars that need to be serviced. There's a lot of inventory sitting on lots that could be moved if it was matched to the right person with the right campaign. That is a reality. And I think it's all about how can we let the system do the heavy lifting of identifying where those opportunities live, and then how can we contact them so we can get them in to schedule a test drive or to schedule a service appointment. That's what the AI is designed to do. And I want to call out just one other distinction, which is many tools are reactive in nature. Someone calls in, someone emails your dealership, someone texts your dealership, the AI system will respond in that moment. But what about the years and years of data that could be used to power these campaigns in the future? That's where the bulk of the opportunity lies, outside of just the day-to-day monotony of the work that happens to make a dealership run. It's all the history that can power these next generation campaigns. That's where there's a lot of revenue to be captured. And when we think about these solutions, I think it's important to think about it from a customer journey standpoint, right? It starts with being able to engage intelligently and quickly, oftentimes less than a minute, and it can function 24/7 depending on when someone engages with your brand. Second, the AI needs to understand the customer. It needs to understand the specific vehicle. It needs to understand the specific geography of a dealership and what the market dynamics might be. It needs to understand all of that to be able to engage intelligently and to capture the most revenue at your dealership. It also needs to be able to qualify people. Does someone have a specific credit score that might limit their options? Is someone budget constrained? Is someone looking for a luxury car? Are they looking for a specific make or model? All of those things should be captured autonomously during the qualification process. As I referenced before, it needs to schedule appointments. Appointments are the lifeblood of this industry. The nurture element here, this is something that all of you contend with. Someone on your team or groups of people have to nurture the people that come in and outside of your dealership. You have to develop relationships over time. It's just part of the automotive industry. AI can handle a lot of the heavy lifting with keeping those relationships alive and keeping people coming back, and that's what we're seeing from AI nowadays. And lastly, it's just the handoff. This is a very important piece. This is not about replacing people. This is about enabling those people inside of your dealership, again, to focus on the thing that really matters, which is developing relationships with people and with customers. That's what we're focused on. When we think about intelligence, there's really 3 layers. There's the customer piece. This is the part that many of you are familiar with. This oftentimes lives in your CRM. It might live in your DMS. But now, even more specifically, this is unique to automotive, is that VIN level intelligence. Does it understand everything about a make or model? Can it answer questions, technical questions, about a specific vehicle in real time, on demand, in email, text, web chat, and future voice? And service is this last layer, the profit driver of many dealerships. Can the AI system understand complex service lines? Can it understand repair orders? Can it understand how to make sense of this complex information, which is buried in very archaic, complex systems like DMS systems? Can it ingest that information, reason against it, identify where there's opportunities that are buried, tee up campaigns, execute those campaigns, engage with customers, and get them inside of your dealership? That's what your AI tools should be able to do. To give you a sense of just what's possible, these are example queries that you might ask the system, much like you might ask your best service advisor or your GM or the head of a group. It knows everything about Sarah Rodriguez. It knows potentially how much equity might be in her vehicle, that she has a teenager turning 16 next month, that she's overdue for service by 2,000 miles, and she prefers the name Jessica, and she likes to book on Saturdays. Another one is, what services is she overdue for? Maybe it's a 45K maintenance service, depending on the car. Maybe she's overdue by 2,000 miles. And maybe it even tells you how to start the conversation. It's always important never to lose sight of what really matters, right? So start with the outcomes in mind. This is not about features. It's not about capabilities. This is what it's about. More test drives, more service appointments, higher repair order values, and less manual work for your team. Really boiled down to its essence. That's what AI solutions can do for you. Just to wrap it up here, this shift, largely powered by next generation AI technologies, more specifically large language models. The old way was separate systems, robotic AI that was templated, and a lot of manual work that was associated with that work. Now, there's this new intelligence layer. This is what was always missing from these systems. It has perfect context, perfect recall, perfect memory at all times. And it can guide your team in real time without being prompted. I like to just end it with this. This leads to more appointments, more repair orders, and happier customers. So thank you, everyone. That's really all I had to say, but it's very nice being here. Hopefully I get a chance to meet many of you.